our flight got cancelled.
We get off the train and that train was also delayed and it's over there, so we run for that train.
Freunde, willkommen zurück meiner Kanal. Mein Name ist Lizzie und ich mache Urlaub in Deutschland. If you're wondering, Lizzie, why did you just talk in German to me? It is because me and Joe are going to Germany tomorrow. So I've just got back from London. If you haven't seen my trip to London, it is in the description in my July vlog. But when we booked to go to Germany, it transpired it was the Monday of me going to London with my mum for the weekend. So I asked my mum if she could get us an earlier train back than we would normally take, and me and Joe plan to go to Heathrow Airport tonight. We're stopping in the same Premier Inn that we stopped in for our honeymoon. I will leave details of that in this travel vlog, but we're just going to eat here and then travel down to the airport. I'm washing my hair in the morning because it would not dry in time to go to sleep tonight if I washed it now. So I need to take things to wash my hair with, and then along with the pyjamas I wear tonight, those will be left in the boot of Joe's car. We have booked airport parking as well, so I'll give you the details of that and our flights and things. We're flying with British Airways from London Heathrow to Basel in Switzerland. Now, I'd never heard of Basel when we booked this trip because I've never been to Switzerland, and then all of a sudden it turned up in one of my books. I read The Idea of You, and one of the chapters was based in Basel, and then it was where Eurovision was this year, so a lot of you will have heard of Basel, but I hadn't when we booked this. So yes, we are flying to Switzerland to get to Germany. Basel is a French-Swiss airport, so when you come out of arrivals, you have to make sure you go through the Swiss door because we are getting a train from Switzerland to Germany, and I'm going to take you through all of that as well because it is quite a complicated theme park to get to, but we are staying in the area of Rust in Germany to go to Europa Park. Joe's always wanted to go here. We are there Tuesday to Thursday, and we are using Monday and Friday as travel days. So this vlog is going to be the Monday and the Friday, and then next week's vlog is going to be the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday in Europa Park. So I am just going to finish my packing and then I will eat, and then I will help Joe with his packing, and then it should be time for us to head to the airport. So this is my packed suitcase. If you haven't seen my packing video, I will leave a card up above to the pack with me that I did last week. It's got a gap in there for my toiletries and stuff tomorrow, but I'm just going to put them in my overnight bag for now. So this is my overnight bag, and this is my parks bag, and I don't know whether I'm going to put that in the suitcase, but I'm going to put in my pyjamas for tonight, my sleep mask and my headache bands, my travel toothbrush and my razors, my loop earplugs to sleep with, a bubble to sleep with, my power bank, all of my tablets, my adapters, my wires, my toiletries, but I actually just need to take out my toothpaste because I share that with Joe, and then I'm putting some suntan lotion in. And then finally, my plush for tonight and the trip actually. So that's all ready to go. And then because I've just been to London, I need to take this off my bag because he's not coming on holiday with me. And then I'm popping my little Labubu on my bag. There he is. And then in this bag, it's got the equipment for this camera, which isn't coming with me. And I'll most likely just pop this into my bag for tomorrow. We're allowed one bag and one cabin suitcase, which I've got. And then obviously that Disneyland tote is staying in Joe's car, just in the boot, because it's got like my clothes in and stuff. So that is me all packed with the last things I needed to put in. We'll be packing for Joe later, and then it'll be time for us to go.
The next morning.
Ours is a local airport. airport. This is an internationale.
Internationale.
Thank you. Tried to put my foot down and there's nothing there.
Many hours later.
So it's 4 o'clock and I'm only just updating you on what happened. But our flight got cancelled. So we breezed through security, we had our breakfast, we had a Starbucks. I'd literally just put our toiletries back in the suitcase because I don't like carrying them around all day. And then we were like, oh, it's only going to be like 5 minutes to our gate, let's go and look at the board. And it was cancelled. And actually 5 minutes before that we booked our train from Switzerland to Germany. So we went to the help desk. They said go to this gate that the board didn't say, but we went to the gate and they were like, are you here for the cancelled flight? And we were like, yeah. And they said read your email. And I was like, we've got no email. So they said go to Flight Connections and they'll get you booked on to flight tomorrow. And I was like, tomorrow? There's 2 more flights today. Is there no space on those? They said go and speak to Flight Connections. So we go down the stairs. The member of staff says go through passport control and leave the airport. I said, I've been told to go to Flight Connections. He goes, no, go that way. So I have to literally go through border patrol when I never went through border patrol to begin with, but still let me through the barrier, which I find a little concerning because you'd think it would be like, you haven't left the country, what are you doing? But whatever. So then we're in arrivals and there's a help desk. So we go to that help desk and explain, and they say, why didn't you go to Flight Connections? And I'm like, that man literally told us to come here. So they put us up in a hotel. We go straight to that hotel because we've got nothing to do now, and it's 9 o'clock in the morning, and they're like, you can't check in till 3. I'm like, I know, but I've got nowhere else to be. So we walked around for a little bit, and then the very kind gentleman at the buffet was like, just come in, have something to eat, you've been up all morning. So we had breakfast there, and then we went and looked around. There was meant to be a viewing platform, but it's closed, even though it's on Google Maps as open. And there's a McDonald's, so we went to that McDonald's for lunch, and then we've just checked into the hotel. So they are providing an evening meal tonight. They've said to go down at 6 and ask where it is, because depending on how many people they've got, they'll either do a set menu or a buffet, and where it is dependent on what it is. So we'll go down at 6, and then we've got buffet breakfast in the morning. But they've put us on the 8:15 tomorrow night flight. We've asked and they can't change it, or won't change it, I can't tell. So we are now flying out 36 hours after we were supposed to. We've lost our train ticket for today. I've had to email the hotel and let them know that we'll be there possibly tomorrow. I'll explain this in a sec. And just letting them know we're still coming. Please can our room be ready for when we get there? And they've said yes, of course, thank you for letting us know, and safe journey, which was really sweet of them. We were originally getting a train from Switzerland to Germany, and there's only like 2 after our flight gets in tomorrow night, so we might potentially have to stop in a hotel in Switzerland tomorrow night. It's like, you can't plan for that, so we're going to have to hotel hop and find somewhere that's got a room, because an Uber is like €200. I've already looked. And then obviously we had a Europa Park ticket for tomorrow that we just can't use now because we've already booked our train back on Friday. So British Airways have given us the procedure to like make a claim, but one of them was like, well, anything after the airport isn't our problem. And I'm like, well, anything that we should have been there for is definitely your problem, so I am going to add that to the claim, but we'll just see what they do. But honestly, I don't even feel like vlogging anymore. I wanted to show you how to get there, as it was meant to be this really simple, easy thing, and British Airways just laughed in my face. So We're going to do take 2 tomorrow. I'll make quite clear in the editing what happened as it should and what things we had to change, i.e. if we have to stop in a hotel tomorrow night, I will say we didn't plan for that, but that means we only get 2 days at Europa Park now, and I'm on the fence whether I do that as a separate vlog or whether I just put that in here. I'm having a big think about it at the moment because we've got less time to enjoy it. So do I want to be on my phone loads, or do I just want to include little clips in here? I really don't know, but I'm really disappointed in how today has gone. So now that we're in the room, we can freshen up and then just get ready for dinner. I think I'm going to have a bath tonight. I kind of wish I hadn't washed my hair because I realised when I was washing it that I didn't bring any curl cream with me, so it's dried like really fluffy, and I don't think it's going to last all week, so it will probably be plaited probably by Wednesday, but it is what it is. But I just thought I would update you. I haven't had a chance to because we've just literally been sat in reception of the Radisson Blu most of the day, and there were kids crying and people coming and going, and it was just too loud, so I was waiting until we had our room, which is a nice room, but obviously we would much rather actually be where we're supposed to be because we would be in our Moxie hotel in Rust by now. But this is the first time this has ever happened to me in 31 years, so I'd say that's quite good going, but it has put me off ever going with British Airways again. We have one more trip booked with them, and then I don't think I'll use them ever again. I was reluctant to use them now because when we went to Tokyo in 2019, they were incredibly rude to me on the flight. Me and Joe were sat at the very back of the plane, and there was a tray behind us that we saw a lady dump there, and the stewardess assumed it was us and had a go at both of us when we still had our trays, and we were like, look around you, that woman is the only woman without a tray. And she went, oh yeah, and no apology. And I was like, you were just assuming it was us because we were closest to it and we're young, so you think we're careless and have no respect, etc. So that put me off, but British Airways was the best to fly with to Basel as it happened. But what's really frustrating now is that obviously we've wasted 2 days of our holiday. We won't get those 2 days back because you don't move your coming home flight by 2 days or like your hotel reservation or anything. And there are 4 flights between the one we were supposed to be going on and the one we are now going on. So it just really sucks that we couldn't have been put on any of those. But obviously a whole flight getting cancelled does have a knock-on effect. I don't know how they allocate it. It might be by however you booked. It might be by your seat number, and we were like 23, so we were quite a way back. I don't know how it works, but we just gotta suck it up and focus on getting to Rust now. But we'll have dinner, I'll have my bath, and then I will see you tomorrow for travel day take 2.
Tomorrow.
So it's Tuesday morning and we're ready for take 2. It's 8 o'clock. We didn't need to get up early because all we've got to do is have breakfast and check out. We did get woken up by the lucky people who got the morning flight because they've kind of dumped us all together on this corridor where like the carpet's worn away and the view is of the like delivery entrance. So it's like a wing that they don't use, I think. So we're all shoved together. And obviously the people that are happy as Larry to be getting on the flight that we all should have taken yesterday morning woke everybody up. So that was great. Last night I got really upset because we went to the buffet and there were just 2 types of curry. Now, I don't eat curry out at all. And I don't like most spices, so the fact that it just said chicken curry didn't tell you what it was. So I did say something and they did bring me some chips, but chips should have been available anyway, and it just felt like a kick in the teeth. Like, we'd already had such a bad day. BA are like, oh, we're going to put you in a hotel, you're going to have dinner. We were actually told to make a reservation at the restaurant, and then they said, no, we're doing the buffet. But I would have ate fine at the restaurant, so they should have just stuck with that because they didn't ask anyone's dietary requirements. Not that I tell people I'm picky, but I would have just said, like, I eat plain food, could there be some chips? Because if there's chips on a buffet I won't complain, but there was nothing for me there. I had 4 pieces of cucumber and a bite of a chocolate cake that wasn't actually chocolate cake. I don't think. It was horrible. So that was frustrating. We did manage to check in for our flight, so we do have seats because we did have to go on online chat earlier in the day to try and
get our seats because it wasn't letting us choose them. So we're all checked in for tonight. So we have to check out of here at 11. We're going to go back to that McDonald's that's just next door and then get the bus to the airport. So we're going to get to the airport really early, but I would rather be sat there in case there's another problem. Really hope there's not. We absolutely have to be on time flying wise. Like, if we're early, even better, because there's 2 possible trains we could get. There isn't a hotel near where we need to be if we're going to stop overnight. Everything would require an Uber, and some of them were like hundreds and hundreds of pounds. So I priced up an Uber to the hotel we've already got booked that are expecting us, and it's going to be just under £200. So if we miss the train, we're going to have to do that. I'm just hoping that someone will pick up that job, because it's an hour's drive, but it's all we could do because the hotels are all booked up. But if the flight is early and if there isn't massive queues at like border patrol and things, then we'll be okay. But I am really worried that it's going to be a taxi, unfortunately. But I'll take you with us for take 2 of our travel day. It must be. Yeah, let's try this again, shall we? So we got here really early, I'm talking 1 o'clock, and I wanted to go and speak to them because we were talking to another passenger who got vouchers for food at the airport while they're waiting, and the woman said, oh, we can't give you that, they should have given it you yesterday, but have you asked if you can get on that earlier flight? So we went and asked, and we are on the 3:35 instead of the 8:15, so we're not going to have to pay for that £200 taxi anymore. We've obviously still lost all of today, so I am going to be claiming that with British Airways, but we will get to our final destination safely and not worry about a taxi driver not taking that job because it's an hour away. We're like waiting to board in like an hour now. Yeah, right, at least we're actually getting on this one. I never got a picture with a plane. So we are safely at our hotel, and what a day.
So I'm very glad that I asked about the flight, because I just thought, why have they automatically put us on a flight when there's 4 more flights before that? So I probably should have done this yesterday. But when I asked about it yesterday, the man just went, no, the one that you've been emailed is the only one we have. And then when he said you can go and ask, he sent us to the wrong place. So he definitely didn't want to help. But everyone today has been really, really helpful. So we got off the flight. Annoyingly, the 2 rows behind Joe just didn't let him out. And that's plane etiquette, isn't it? You just let every row out until everyone's off, but no. And then Border Patrol was really smooth. Literally, we didn't have to wait, we just walked up to someone and then we went out the Swiss exit, which is what we were supposed to do. I've seen that the Starbucks sells the bear that I regret not getting from Disneyland Paris, so I need to find the Starbucks and get it. Then we took the bus to Basel SBB Bahnhof, and then that's when it all went wrong. So we'd missed the train by literally 2 minutes. We booked the next one, which is an hour away. So we wait for that. We get on it, and it's 8 minutes delayed when we had 6 minutes to get on to our connecting train. So we're like, we're going to miss this train, we're going to miss this train. Oh no. We get off the train, and that train was also delayed and it's over there. So we run for that train. And then we get off that train, and there's a bus that you can pay for to take you to the Europa Park hotels. Now, we're not in a Europa Park hotel, but we are right next to one. So we got this bus, and luckily it waited for the train. And then we got to the hotel. Now, I had told them through hotels.com that we weren't going to be checking in yesterday, so they were expecting us today. They were just about to stop selling food, so they said, is there anything you want? So we've just shared a pizza, and then we've got to our room. It's got a very high ceiling, as you can see, but it works for us. It doesn't have any storage, no locker, no fridge, no wardrobe, but we're now only here 3 nights, so it's fine. But we are glad that we are finally here. We're exhausted. We feel like we've had the holiday from hell so far. But we've got 2 days in Europa Park now, not 3, which I'm still going to do as a separate vlog, which you will see next week. But I am not ending this here, because I'm going to come back on Friday with my redemption arc and hopefully have a smoother travel day home. So I'll show you the reverse of us getting from here back to Dudley as well. So I will see you in a few days.
2 days later.
So it's Friday morning and we're just getting ready to head home. So we did talk about using our 3rd ticket for today, but the trains were just so unreliable on Tuesday that I don't want to take a later train. We've got an express train this morning. It's called an Intercity Express, ICE for short, but I don't like using that for obvious reasons. And it's for 9:58, I think. So we are up quite early because we want to go to a shop by us. So there's a supermarket called Edeka, I think, and then there's Lidl. Now we went to Lidl Wednesday night because we needed water, but today I just want to see what Kinder and Haribo's they have because I've got some space in my suitcase for some snacks. But I didn't really talk to you about what I thought about Europa Park in my vlog, I've realised, and I've already closed it off, which you'll see next week. I really loved it. They've got a lot of attention to detail, a lot of theming. I don't think the staff in each country are from that country. I think they're all German because their little name badges, much like Disney, tell you what languages they speak, and it's always German and then maybe some other languages. And it's been really fun for me actually using my German again, especially with the ones who don't have English on their tag, because some of them you'll speak to them in German and then they'll speak back to you in English, a lot like Disneyland Paris, because they know it's not your native language. Don't know whether they can tell by looking at me or whether it's how I pronounce the words, I don't know. But it's been fun to speak German again. But everything's beautifully themed. I've been on some of the best rides I've ever been on. I went on a VR coaster and that was incredible. I haven't stopped thinking about it. But some of the things I don't like is the lack of health and safety. I've tripped over so many things because there's nothing stopping you. You can openly walk into water. There's nothing stopping you from walking on the train tracks. They just ring a bell when the train's coming. Smoking is everywhere. It's not confined to little smoking areas. There's ashtrays on all the tables. There's ashtrays on top of all the bins. So I've inhaled a lot of smoke that I wouldn't at any other park I've been to. but it's been a really lovely trip. I'm glad we got so much done in 2 days. Our third ticket that we didn't get to use, we have 3 years to use, so I'm sure we will be back, as we did really enjoy it. I'm just really nervous about getting here again because, as you could see from the start of this vlog, it should be fairly simple, but one simple cancellation can throw all of it out. So we are taking a bus to Ringsheim-Bahnhof this morning. That is a bus that we get from outside the Hotel Bellrock, which is one of the Europa Park hotels. It's €6.20 for the two of us. You have to pay cash on the bus, which is really frustrating. And then from there, we will get our Intercity Express train to Basel SBB. So we're going back into Switzerland. We're going to chill there for a little bit. I'm going to look for a Starbucks because there's no Starbucks around here to get that little remix bear I didn't get from Disneyland Paris. If you didn't see the vlog where I left him behind, I'll leave a card up above as I'm feeling really guilty. I did ask a cast member in the UK and they knew nothing about it, so I am not sure whether he's coming to the UK. I didn't buy him in Disneyland Paris because I thought he would, and I don't like to buy things I can get elsewhere. And then when we're ready to go to the airport, there's a little bus you can get to the airport. I think that was €6 again. You could pay by card there, and then we'll be at the airport for our 7:15 flight, so I'll take you along with me again. Got the bus, and then literally this is the train station. It's that close. It's very hot at this train station. It's like not in a covered place whatsoever, but we've got about 15 minutes until the train, as long as it's on time. So that'll get us there about 10:30 I think, and then there's a Starbucks, so fingers crossed I can get that there. Nice of you though. Just know if you want. So I'm back from Europa Park. It's obviously the next day. We've been shopping this morning. We've gotten Stitch back from my mum and dad's, and now I am unpacking the suitcases. I'm doing the washing. The washing that I had just gotten on top of before we went away is now overflowing again. But I didn't get to speak to you in the airport last night because I was just feeling so incredibly anxious. Obviously, after what happened on Monday and then subsequently going on holiday on Tuesday instead,
scared. I was really scared that our flight home would get cancelled. So our flight last night was getting delayed, and they started coming around saying they needed everyone's bags to be in the hold, which we didn't want to do because we already knew it would be quite tight to get to a Tesco before they close at midnight. So we didn't go up. A woman next to us didn't go up. But the staff seemed to single this woman out, and they kept coming up to her. They said they'd escort her there, they were threatening her, and it was just really unprofessional. But that was the Basel Airport staff, not the British Airways staff, because the plane hadn't even got there yet. So the plane got there at 7:30, I think, when we were meant to take off at 7:15. So it was already delayed, and there was no way they were going to get us all on the flight and ready to go anytime soon. It was saying we would depart at 8. I think we departed about 8:30. They did make time up in the air, which I appreciated, but we still got back an hour later than we should have. We breezed through border patrol. We obviously didn't need to get our bags because they were still with us, and then we had the long drive home. They'd closed the M5, so we had to take normal roads some of the way home, and then we made it to Tesco with 15 minutes to spare, so we got our bread and milk. My mum did offer to get them for us, but we thought we'd have plenty of time because we were meant to get back an hour earlier than we did. So then I went straight to bed. I got up early this morning to wash my hair because I wanted to film YouTube videos today, but it's like 4 o'clock now and I've only just got home, so I won't be filming YouTube videos today. I have got some shorts that I want to film, so I will do those and then possibly do the sit down videos tomorrow. But we're in a heatwave in the UK again. How has that happened twice? When we got back from Disneyland Paris, we were in a heatwave as well. So obviously I'm back at work on Monday, so I do want to kind of chill tomorrow, but I do need to get some filming done. But I wanted to say thank you for watching this travel day vlog. It was supposed to be a really straightforward process getting from Dudley to Rust in Germany, but obviously life got in the way, and I will have to make a complaint to British Airways to claim back the money for the flight and the costs we incurred that were a result of the flight being cancelled. So I'll try and update you here about how that goes. I absolutely hate doing things like that, but that is what they've told us to do. They won't just automatically give us money back, we've got to claim for it. So just to finish off this travel day, I thought I would talk to you a little bit about the claim we made to British Airways just briefly. So we claimed against the food, the train and the hotel. They have paid out for the food and the train but not the hotel, and they've not given us compensation because they said that they cancelled the flight due to adverse weather and by law they can't pay out for that. I was a bit shocked because that isn't what we were told, so I did argue back, but they have said that it definitely was weather and they're sorry we were told otherwise and there's nothing they can do. So there was a bit of back and forth for a couple of weeks after we got back, but ultimately we're not taking it any further. We're just disappointed in the outcome, but it has made me less likely to fly with British Airways in the future as the staff weren't very friendly and obviously it left us out of pocket, so it was just an experience I wouldn't want to have again. But I really hope you found this travel day vlog informative. I've given you as much information as I think you would need to travel to Europa Park, but if there's any additional questions you have, please feel free to leave those in the comments. Obviously all of the prices are what we paid at the time of filming. Things can fluctuate, so please take this with a pinch of salt. I'm just doing it to be informative, but if you're watching this many years afterwards, or even just a few months really, those prices will have changed, so please bear that in mind. But I just thought I would briefly pop on and tell you that we did receive a little bit of money back for the inconvenience, but unfortunately we didn't qualify for full compensation. But even though the travel day didn't go as planned, luckily it didn't spoil the entire holiday. And I really hope you enjoy the Europa Park vlog I bring you next week. It's one of the most beautiful theme parks I've ever gone to, but it does unnerve me that there's no security, no bag check. There's just people openly smoking everywhere. There's like ashtrays on the side and ashtrays on the bins. They're just allowed to smoke anywhere but inside, and I didn't like that. But the theming is beautiful. The operations are great. I can't fault the wait times and things for how busy the park seemed. But let's show you what I got. So it's literally all in this bag. I'll start with Joe's bits actually. actually, because I'm sure he won't mind. So he got this Euromouse shoulder plush. Of course Joe got a shoulder plush. This is the only shoulder plush they sold. He was $19.95 and this is Euromouse. Yes, I am not kidding. The mascot of a park that's not Disney is also a mouse. So Joe got this. He didn't use it because it comes with a string and he wanted to snip it off, but it's going to live with all of his shoulder plushes. And then I also wanted this, but Joe wanted to buy it, so I was like, we don't need two in the house. But it's the little otter from the Pirates in Batavia ride. It was $29.95 and he's got a red and white striped jumper on and a red handkerchief, I think, wrapped around his head. But I did really love this character, so if Joe hadn't bought it, I would have. And then onto what I got. There are a few different Euromouse plushes and I only really wanted one just to show that we'd been there. So I got the smallest size because it was $12.95. So this is Euromouse, also known as Ed. And then I also got Edda, which is like girl Euromouse. They are trying so hard not to be Mickey and Minnie while also being Mickey and Minnie. So they were both $12.95. And then in the French area, I'm not going to say pavilion, just the French area of the park, they had a Nicky, which is a French plush brand. So I got a little capybara, which the tag actually says it's a capybara. It was $9.99. And then I got a quokka. I'm obsessed with quokkas at the moment, and this one was $22.99 and it's made from recycled materials. And then my favourite one that I got was this dog holding a duck, because Joe loves ducks and I love dogs, so this was perfect for me. And this was $27.99. And these were all the things I bought first, and then on the last day I decided to go back and get two more things. So they have this little Geeks range, I think it is, I can't remember what it's called, and I've just realised they're downstairs. Actually, I didn't bring them up. I got a little chipmunk squirrel thing dressed as a dog with a cookie in his pocket, and you can remove his outfit, so I'm going to see whether my Labubu's will fit into that. And that was $9.99. And by the way, for all of my American friends watching this, these prices include tax. And then I saw that they had a little phone charm of a dog that was dressed as like pancakes with blueberries on him, so I got him as well, and he was $4.99. So that was everything I got from Europa Park. But then I went on a bit of a hunt, because when we got to the airport on Tuesday, I saw the remix bear from my Disneyland Paris vlogs. So we searched all of Switzerland on our last day and we couldn't find him, so I can only assume that this bear is only sold in France, because so far I've only seen it in Basel Airport and Disney's Hotel Santa Fe. But I've now got the remix Starbucks bear. So he's got headphones on and he's holding a mixtape. He's got a Starbucks t-shirt on, some black trousers and a denim jacket, and on the back there is an emblem of a heart with a lightning bolt, a vinyl CD I think, with a peace sign coming out of it, and a Starbucks cup. And this was $29.90 Swiss francs, which I think was about £25. So everything else was in euros, and then these two things are in Swiss francs. So I say two things because they had another bear. So typically in our country, the Starbucks barista says England on his apron, the one in Switzerland said Switzerland, and the one in France said France, but it also had a beret and a baguette. And I'd be far more inclined to collect them if they all had something special about them like that. And I've always said I just want one without the country. And that Starbucks where I got the remix barista from had one without a country on it, and I was like, this is either rare or like a really old one before they started doing the countries. And I said to Joe, you know what, you don't know what to get me for our wedding anniversary, what about this? So he bought it for me. I've got him a shoulder plush which he hasn't actually seen yet, but I'll pop a clip in of what it looks like. But he bought me the little barista bear, so it would normally say the country just above the pockets there in embroidery, and I just didn't want it to say that. I don't know whether they come in and they embroider them, but either way, I've got one that doesn't have a country. I haven't got to start collecting them from all over the world, because if I was going to do that, I would have got the one from Switzerland that morning, but I didn't. So I'm really happy with my Starbucks barista, and he was $25.90 Swiss francs. So I think he was about £23, something like that. But that was everything that I got. I can't believe I've gone on 2 trips to get that that Starbucks barista remix bear, but I'm so happy to have him. But thank you so much if you stayed till the end of this video. I honestly don't blame you if you didn't, because it went a bit rocky at the beginning. It was meant to be this happy, clappy travel day, and it just turned into the holiday from hell a little bit. But I'm very grateful we got to go. I'm very grateful I got to see that park because it's so beautiful, and because they've extended our ticket to use in the next 3 years, I'm sure we'll be back at some point. But thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please give it a big thumbs up if you did, and comment down below what was your favourite part, and I will be back next week for the Europa Park vlog, so I really hope you all join me for that. Bye friends!